So everything that comes back to you, any response you have with another person, is really like the way you react to something happening outside of you is a reflection of what you see and how you perceive the world. Hey guys, it's Hayden here making another video. Today I want to talk about perception, limited perception, how it affects our life, how it affects how we interact with other people, and also how to expand our perception and create more love, harmony, and peace in the world. Let's get into it. So before I get into the video, I want to thank my supporters, my patrons for supporting me. Also, if you're new to my channel and you like what I make, think about subscribing and supporting me on Patreon. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can reach out to me on my Instagram or my email, which will be in the description below. Let's get into the video. So as most of you know, I've been doing shamanism training and I've been on a path of spiritual development for a while now. And I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about and I've been working on recently, and that's perception. So a lot of what Iggy's been teaching me has been about perception and how our view on reality is limited and it is not reflective of everybody's different perspective. And so understanding that has been very pivotal, and the more I think about it, the more I reflect about it, the more profound it is. Because everybody has their own view on the world. Everybody has their own experience, their own background. And so when we prioritize or sort of worship our own worldview and sort of focus on that and keep it very rigid and structured, it limits us from understanding others. It sort of creates division and separation and more conflict in the world. And that's something that we're seeing more and more of in the world today, especially recently with all the COVID and all the president stuff going on in the U.S., but also I think across the world. I can't speak for other countries, but I think there's a lot of conflict happening. And so more than ever, it's important time to realize that everybody has a different experience of the world and a different voice. And while you may not resonate with everyone's voice and they may not make sense to you, it's important to realize that their perception is their reality, and it's not to view them in a condescending way, but it's more of a curiosity and understanding where they're coming from, how is this true for them, and what makes sense in what they're saying. Because how I've been taught is all truths are half truths. So there may be truth in what they're saying, and there may be a lesson there for you in some ways. I've also been taught that every person that comes in your life is a gift from the universe. And so if you're triggered by someone, or you're upset by a situation, or you're just, kind of irritated by something, it's important to view that as a gift. It's an opportunity for growth and learning. Because if someone's triggering you or someone's upsetting you about something, it has less to do with what that other person is doing and more to do with your perception of your reality, with your experiences, what in the past has hurt you, or something along those lines that has something to do with your own psychology. I know for some people they may not agree with me, but someone viewing the same situation, two different people, one might be triggered by it and the other one might not. And so how do you explain that? Well, in what I've learned with shamanism, it would indicate that there's something there to be learned. There's something that needs to be processed. It's either something that you don't want to be, something that is something you don't want to become, or it's something that you haven't integrated in your life. And so what's basically happening is you're wearing a lens of life, and your subconscious and everything that you perceive is being projected onto the world. So everything that comes back to you, any response you have with another person, is really like the way you react to something happening outside of you is a reflection of what you see and how you perceive the world. So say, for example, you believe that all chickens should be white, and you see a black chicken. That may irritate you because you feel like all chickens should be white. So I know this is an oversimplified version, but when we have complex things like that in our belief system where we believe everything should be a certain way or should be another way, or it's not okay if this is happening or not okay if that is happening, then there's things that we're going to get triggered by. And a lot of these are subconscious, a lot of these have been integrated over time. But when they pop up and we do get triggered, those are opportunities for growth. Those are opportunities for development and looking at our perspective, looking at our lens to see what may be on there that's causing us to view the situation in that way. So understanding your perspective is limited is not necessarily saying that, your worldview is not valid or it is valid or whatever. It's just understanding that your perceptions of other people and yourself need to be taken with a grain of salt, and you kind of need to investigate and invest further into that, into feelings that you have about yourself and other people. It's just like if you start getting down on yourself and you start thinking things like, hey, I'm this, I'm that, those are perceptions that you have of yourself that probably aren't true. And it's creating a physical response in your body of depression or sadness or insecurity. And that's a lens that you're wearing, but it's not a lens that's faced outwards, it's a lens that's faced inwards. While our society generally views anger as coming from outside of you, or insecurity just kind of showing up because of mental illness or things like that, which I'm not discounting mental illness, there's a sense of agency, and there's a sense of control, or something we can do about these things that our society doesn't necessarily talk about. And that's realizing that this situation, this emotion, this problem that's presenting itself to us is an opportunity for growth and learning, and an opportunity to look at our perceptions and see maybe where we're flawed in our perception, maybe where we're viewing it a certain way, but if we view it a different way, it's actually liberates us and frees us from that. And so it's not necessarily about having a right or wrong perception. I don't think we're ever going to understand how the universe works or what's the perfect thing to do in every situation, but it's learning how to have a dialogue and a sort of understanding of why is this happening? What is causing this? Is it my belief system? Is it how I think things should be? What is it? And as you start to create that dialogue, it opens up the possibility for a change, for a transformation, for a new direction, a different perspective, for compassion, for empathy, for inclusivity of others, for not judging people based off their differences, but understanding that they have their experience, they have their worldviews, and they have their background that got them to where they are today. It doesn't mean that they're a lesser person. That's just where they are on their journey. So that's all I want to talk about today. I hope I articulated that clearly. I had a hard time sort of packaging it all together because it's a big topic. If you like what I talked about today, consider subscribing and supporting me on Patreon, and make sure to hit that like button and comment below if you'd like to. And as always, guys, make sure to seek your truth and to take time for yourself. And I'll see you in my future videos. Bye for now.